Welcome to our Get It Straight number 12 live webinar. We lost Yocheved. Yocheved, what happened to you? Rivka's there. Yocheved. Well, anyway, hi Shani, you're here. And Libby, so glad to be back. We're glad to have you back. Already people pouring in. Like, as always, tell us where you are. Like, just shout out, say hello. Hi, Gitty. Hi, Sandy. Ho to everyone. I can't see anything. Oh, no, Yocheved, what happened to you? All here. Rivka, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone just give me a hands up?
It's fine.
So who said that?
That was me, Rivka.
Oh, Rivka, you're working. Could you call hi, Leah. What happened to Yocheved? Do you want to call Yocheved quickly and see what happened to her?
Yeah, call him.
Hi, Rivka. Loving the pictures. Great. Oh, look, everybody's back here. It's great. It's so nice. And Hamish. Hi, Ayala from RBS. Okay, you hear me. That's good. Oh, yes, that was to my call out. Don't forget, there's like a lag of like 15 seconds. I don't know why. I mean, we live in 2021. Oh, Bob's back. Hey, Bob from Arlington. I haven't seen you for a while. But anyway, so there's a lag for some reason. I don't know. So whenever I ask something, it takes a little while for it to pop up. Okay, that's nice. I've also been waiting for this. Hi, Yael from Kochav Yaakov. Thanks for being here. Well, everyone's so bright and early. This is great. This is great. There's apparently a big football match in England. Oh, there's apparently a big football match in England. So I wouldn't imagine that it's going to affect our audience too much, though. But my mum did give me the heads up that I have to be careful because apparently England's playing football today. But anyway. Okay. Oh, here's Yocheved.
Oh, here I am.
Oh.
I got lost.
Oh, wow. What happened?
I don't know. I went into the wrong room.
Oh, no. It's bad to walk into the wrong room. Can we get rid of Rivka? Do you want to turn off your... 1 second. How can we get rid of Rivka? No, I don't want to get rid of Rivka, but just like... Oh, I don't know. Okay, we'll leave it anyway. These be more interesting than football. Absolutely.
Yes, the England final tonight.
That's what I just said. My mum told me there was some kind of football match in England.
Yeah.
So, but I just said
England, Italy.
I don't think it's going to affect our crowd.
Our crowd, not too much, no.
Everyone can see it with the
beer. Yaakov girls.
two screens. You can have the football and the beer on one side, and the coffee and the piece of cake with us on the other side. Okay, let's jump in. Okay. Let's share my screen. 1 second. There we go. And then that trippy thing. Let me bring this up here. Oh, no. There we go. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Let me just put you on the other side over here. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Oh, Libby's
Thanks,
glad
Libby.
you're back, Kevin. That's nice. Okay. Okay, so I have a couple of 3 student transformations. The truth is we had loads because we haven't been here for a month or so. But anyway, I've just pulled out a couple of them. So I think this is only this one's special because it's only over 4 weeks. This is Javi Gelbman. So this is how she began. Okay, very. At least she's trying with the posing. At least
not bad, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that is important if you want to become a good photographer that I say to a lot of people, a lot of the first pictures that people send me are always like in the park, like kind of opportunist, like a snap here and a snap there. It's much better to be very, very like what's the word? Very, 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 very purposeful and intentional in your photography. you learn a lot more. So if you're just going around like kind of snapping and grabbing images, that's great and it's definitely worth something. But if you take your subject and you pose them, you sit them down and you decide on the background and you decide on the lighting and you decide on the composition, etc., you're killing many more birds in one stone. So this was already a great beginning. So
yeah, you see, she's got quite a few elements on her own already.
Yeah, she's got no idea technically of like the concept of backgrounds and any technical ideas, which is fine. Here we can also see no understanding of light and like elements in the picture. Then after this is the second week, okay, so this is already now we can see that she's developing an eye for backgrounds and light, etc. And here going further also with posing as well. I think this is for class 3. Okay, now now getting a really good feel for the energies in the image and the balance in the image. Okay, that was nice.
Sweet,
just missed the focus though. Okay, and then this was where we ended up after class 4. Now we can see a real sensitivity to light, sensitivity to background, perfect sharpness. Now she's completely understanding. So she's in aperture priority, but we can see she's really understanding the technical side of things as well. So well done, Javi, fantastic. Lovely. Okay, and now Leia. This is a full what's the word? A full not description. This is somebody going from class 1 to class 7. Okay, so Leia came into our school taking pictures like this. Again, you can see that she has an eye, a sensitivity to the composition of the image and to the space in the image. No technical understanding. To leave this kind of muddy area in as well is not so good. Also here again, not really understanding the elements and how the different graphics play a role, but a really nice understanding of the
balance is lovely.
Space in the image and the balance in the image. Exactly. Very good. Okay, so this is the next class now, understanding about light a little bit more, and backgrounds are a little better as well. Okay, that was interesting. I'm not sure. That was, I think, for the second class. I don't think that works generally. We try not to do that, but I think it was like good thinking. Okay, and again, nice balance. No concept of depth of field or any technical things, but again, showing a good balance, good composition. Now getting a little.
It's already different. You can just see that.
Absolutely, this is class 3. Not sharp. Okay, but still at least showing a real like kind of a more spontaneity in the image. Okay, now this is getting really, really good. I think this is class 4. Okay, and this is beautifully composed, beautifully edited as well. It's still she is shooting. She's in priority, aperture priority. That's fine. That's beautiful. Lovely light as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, the editing's now moving forward as well. Good composition, lovely energy there. And this is great.
Wow.
In direct sunlight as well, which is very tricky.
That's like at the beginning when you learn the elements of composition, and one of the things is color. Absolutely. It's like this is a color picture.
Exactly. Go on, you have a question for you. What lighting is this lighting on her face? What lighting scheme is that?
I would jump in and say butterfly, but absolutely. I know that's more it is.
Absolutely butterfly. Yeah. That's 100% textbook butterfly. Very well. Good. And then these were the last couple of funky pictures that she did for the school, which I think are beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Leia, well done. Amazing.
Very
and then
nice.
Finally, Sarah again. So this is where she began. No technical concept, but again, quite a nice understanding of the image and the space in the image. Okay, that's quite nice. Again, very technically not really nothing there, and also leaving in these elements in the background, not particularly impressive. But then moving forward, okay, she's starting to cut the idea of backgrounds and the concept of beautiful graphics, etc. Light isn't so good, but it's a nice smile and stuff. Okay, this is great. Now the light is better. Pose is quite nice. Found a decent background. Now we've got really nice posing. Good editing as well. Technically,
gorgeous lighting.
Pretty good. Okay. And this is also looking good as well now, using the light really intelligently here, even though it's quite difficult light. Lovely balance, great depth of field, lovely background. Okay, and beautiful. Now doing things a little more interesting as well. That's excellent. Okay, and then finally.
That's great.
Yeah, beautiful energy, beautiful.
So dynamic, yeah.
Absolutely, and really, she changed her camera by the end of the course. She upgraded to a 5D, and stats are perfect. She's in manual, absolutely perfect for that. That's excellent. So well done, Javi.
Really nice.
And also, there's so many other people who might have even had better, more impressive transformations. That there's just so many people going through the school that it's difficult for me to keep on top of everything. So anyway, okay, let's jump in. So again, like we said, our goal is to get through all of these pictures. Okay, all of these. So
ready, steady, go.
Go. Let me just turn on my air conditioning in a second. Okay. I haven't looked at these pictures at all. I just downloaded them. I did not look at them for 1 second. Okay. Rivka. Who is this? Rivka. Oh, this is Rivka Mosbach. I just took pictures for her brother's Hasna the other day. And this is her sister. Okay. What do I think of this picture?
Flare's too strong.
First, let's look at the stats. She's in manual. So I actually think this is excellent. I think it's really cutting edge, very original. You'd obviously have to make sure that you've got more normal pictures in the portfolio. Remember, a really important thing is you can never get in trouble for normal, but you can get in trouble for not normal. So, for example, when you put in a black and white, you can get in trouble for making a picture black and white, as in not really trouble, but you can have a client turn around to you and say, could I have this picture in color? Whereas if you
had that once.
Yeah, I've had that a lot of times.
And I'd gone black and white because the color was so bad, but the pose was so good. So you always say, last resort, go black and white. Yeah. So I did. It's just like, we really want this in color.
That's a problem. So yeah, exactly. So,
it was a problem.
Yeah, I know, I understand that. So when, but when you shoot in color, if you leave a picture in color, no one asks you, can I have that in black and white? Or maybe I've had that once or something. But you have to remember, whenever you're doing something different or funky or interesting, whatever, then you can always get in trouble. So anyway, I think this is beautiful. I think this is I think this is excellent. I think you've done a big edit in Lightroom. You made it very, very warm. I don't think that would come through naturally at all. I would maybe leave a little bit more space and have a little bit more space over here as well. But also well done for shooting with such a basic camera. But always a good idea to be on 200 ISO. Even though,
would you dehaze the face a little bit?
I might,
a bit lost.
Yeah, I might just take my clarity tool out and just bring out the eyes and stuff. Maybe that's a good idea. But always important to be default 200 ISO, default 200 ISO, and then you can have 400th of a second. Remember, a 200th of a second, you are not out of the forest. You're just at you're at the beginning. Okay, there's still a lot of chance of there's still a good chance of not getting a sharp picture. When you get to like 400th of a second, then it's already much better. Okay, who's this? I'm not sure. This looks like you used flash. I'm not sure, or maybe the sun. It could be that the sun is falling out, and there's like, this is the shape. This like is some kind of like hill or mountain or building, and the sun is lying on these guys and not on the little ones. It looks like you've worked pretty hard to make sure that this one, this one, this one, and this one aren't looking, and the big ones are looking. That didn't just happen. And plus these ones inwards and these ones looked inwards. That definitely didn't just happen. I look, quality wise, it's not really there. We've got a very
poor.
Yeah, very poor or weak. A very weak contrast between the subjects and the background, and that's a very, very big thing, is making sure there's a big separation between the subject and background. So the picture basically is a black and white image. It doesn't have enough oomph, and like I said, the subjects are really not popping out, so that's a big issue. Okay, that's really nicely posed. Okay, Rivka, really nicely posed. But the white balance is really off there. It'd be very simple to fix that. We could just take that into Lightroom and fix that. Let's just, without getting too deep into it. But you've done really well with these hands here. That's very specific. That's very purposeful. Very good. That really helps. Always remember having lines going in. These two girls holding hands is good. I would probably put this hand around this little girl over here, and I would probably ask this girl in the background to put her hand probably over here just to bind things together. But no one's on top of each other. Really nice. We've got a nice movement, kind of a nice line going around, which I think works really well. So well done. Let me just in Lightroom. Oh, 1 second. Where is that one? Just to quickly show you what I would do here, I would just warm it up a teeny bit. It'll make all the difference, probably 10 points. If we go to temperature. Oh, so why did that happen? Strange. Is that the brush? That's my brush. Excuse me. So I would put the temperature up about that much. But now also when you put up the temperature, you have to be careful because it raises the exposure as well. So I'll drop the highlights down. There'd be more to do there, but that would be the beginning basically. Okay. High layer. Wow,
that's a complicated shot.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. It's not like we wouldn't call that like a professional, like purposeful picture. It's just very cute. In regards to the background, it doesn't really work when you've got like the floor, regular floor, and then a background. Also, to use a black background, you should see what I do to use my black background, the amount of energy that I exert creating lights to make sure we've got a rim light going around it is insane. So
it's crazy how amazing it looks though.
Yeah, it is. It's special. Yeah, 100%. This is very cute. It's very cute. Okay. Okay. Osnat. Okay, this is beautiful. My issue here is that it's unbalanced. We've got, although I like the energy, I like space here because we do have these lines going along. I would definitely leave this like this. But I feel that this picture should be extended this way by quite a way. It's
panorama.
Yeah, I wouldn't crop it closer. Like you do have the option of just going like that, but that I don't think does it justice.
Yeah, you lose.
This you need all
so dramatically wild.
Absolutely. So I would want to add a lot more space on the right side. Otherwise, the light's beautiful.
It's amazing how even the leaves blowing this way and he's looking that way sort of interplay with each other as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got energy from all the graphics that way, and we've got energy from the subject that way, 100%. Also, this white area up here, I think in this case, it doesn't subtract from it or detract. Generally, an overexposed area does. But anyway, well done. Beautiful. Okay. Malcolor. The pose is actually excellent. Really, really good. It's just a completely random place. It looks like there might not be anywhere better than that, but there's always somewhere better than this. Whether you have to, there really is. So I'll give you like a big thumbs up for the posing, just in regards to the location.
Even just turning, if you see the shadow on the floor, so if she turns around and gets them full on with the light behind them, the background is so far away, you could maybe blow that out.
Yeah. I hear you.
Just move a little bit round to the right.
I hear you. The thing is that it's not just the problem of the stuff. There's a lot of empty white space. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's more the issue.
It would be white. Yeah, it would be overexposed.
Even with the that's really the issue. That's really the issue. There's a huge amount of white. Like all of this area over here, then all of this area over here, then this area over here, and then a lot of this area over here. So that's just the picture is completely just overexposed in regards to that area. What we could do, which would make quite a big difference, I think. Her hands were a little bit annoying. That's a bit annoying. this is a good example of where you have to compromise your composition to or you compromise your subject to give a better composition. This, in my opinion, is a much better picture.
It's not so distracting.
Exactly. The reason being is we've cut away so much of this crazy white overexposed area. But otherwise, like I said, Malcolm, excellent posing. Everyone's moved in, beautiful line going around. Perfect. Remember, that is the key. The key to good family posing is a good line that draws your eye all the way around. Okay, onward. Nice one, Leia. Be careful, ugly graphics. This is called ugly graphics, okay? This is called gorgeous graphics. And I think, as everybody knows, I am very much not a fan of tree hugging. I just don't. I just like these kinds of trees in North America and Europe and stuff. I just don't think they have much of a place in photographs. They're just so ugly generally. Okay, but otherwise, lots of nice energy, decent light. But be careful the background. Remember, the more ugly the graphics, the more ugly the picture. Although it is a very cute picture, the kid's very cute. So well done. Okay, A.E. Beck. Okay, so light-wise, it's a little bit of an issue. The light on our subjects' faces is very kind of convoluted. There wouldn't be much you could do with this. One of the reasons, Yocheved, do you know how this happens? How you end up with this horrible, messy, soft light?
When the sun's on their face through the clouds?
That could also be. But generally, the way when you end up with this is usually when you have a dark area behind you, which means you've got light coming. When I say a dark area, that means like if you've got trees or any kind of thing that's blocking light. If it's open, even if the light source is coming from behind, but there's an opening behind you, that will still cast light on your subject. But when you've got something dark behind you, be it a building,
the light's only coming from above.
It means light, or from the sides, and it's coming from all different places, just not from behind, just not from in front of the subject, from behind you, and that causes this kind of convoluted lighting. But otherwise, I like the energy of the leading.
Yeah, is this Golders Hill Park?
No idea. Smiley shots.
Yeah, Golders Hill Park. Yeah, it's gorgeous. There's like a really nice area there.
Okay. Onward, that's nice. Well done. Chaya, that's really well done. You've done a lot of work in the background. Looks like you even did that in Photoshop, but definitely softened that a lot. I think you've done that really well. But he's a little bit off, but the light is very nice. Stats. Okay, everyone, let's ask. Don't say anything.
Just read it out, because for some people they're blurred.
1 second. I'm just going to start poll. Okay, so the stats are ISO 125, 1.8 at 800 of a second. What do you think? Okay, do people see it?
And the clock starts now.
60, 50% perfect. More, 60% good, 40% perfect. No one said bad. Oh, we got a few people said bad now.
You're being very deadpan about it.
Yeah.
Poker face.
Oh, you got more people saying bad now than good.
Now they don't know what to think.
Okay, we're going to hold it. Yeah, I don't want to give that away. Poll. Okay, so everyone can see that. 48% said good, 27% bad, 24% perfect. What are your thoughts, Yocheved?
I don't like the 1.8.
That is a big problem. However,
you can get away with it sometimes if you're far enough away.
She completely got away with it, but that does not make it that does not make it not
a perfect stat. Yeah.
Even though you got away with it,
you can get lucky, but it's really risky.
You did get lucky. 1.8 is a very, very bad idea for a group of 5 people. With your camera and your lens, you should be shooting at least 2.5, maybe even up to 3.2. Remember, it's never worth a blurry subject. A slightly blurrier background is never a good cheshbon. It's never good. How do you say that?
Yeah.
Never a good.
calculation.
It's never a good calculation, never a good compromise. But otherwise, really nice. The light is beautiful, lots of good energy. He's a little bit random with that arm. But other than that, also ISO should default. You should be at 200 ISO. There's no, even though everything's fine, I'm just being like quirky and annoying. 200 ISO is where you should be at. It really is. Okay. This is nice, Malka. We could use a wider aperture, definitely, and a quicker shutter speed, and could do some work in Lightroom, I think. Needs to be brightened up a little bit. But I think it's very cute. It's a very nice, cute picture. It could also be warmed up as well. But well done. That's very well done. Okay. This is nice. That's very cute. I think I would crop in closer. Remember, intimacy and intensity. This is a very intimate picture. So cropping in close gives us intimacy and intensity. So even by chopping off a little bit of the head and a drop of the arm over here, look how much more intimate that makes that picture. A very, very good tip is just to chop off a little bit of the head or a little bit of the whatever it is, just to chop off a little bit really gives you that extra feeling of closeness and intimacy. Beautiful. Okay.
Kitty's asking, how do you balance that with getting the background in? Versus
I hear. Well, you don't. When we're talking about a picture like this, and it's such a bland, not bland. It's beautiful, but it's just not important. We've got enough background here to do for us what the background is doing. For example, this background does a certain thing to you internally, however you want to describe that. Okay, it's green, it's soft, it's deep, it's vertical, it's horizontal lines primarily, etc. So that does something to you emotionally. Yeah. So we've got enough from having this over here. We've got enough of that. We weren't really gaining much more from having more of that. And now we've pushed the subjects much further. So I think that makes sense.
They stick out more, they pop out more. Sandy's questioning that when you crop, I find you lose sharpness. Would that be if the picture wasn't that sharp to start with, then as you zoom in, you're noticing it more?
So yeah, for sure. As you crop in, you lose sharpness, but only when you crop in a lot. Only when you crop in a lot. I wouldn't like, for example, if I was to crop in like this, yeah, now we really do lose. Now we end up with a picture that's really unprintable. Okay. Whereas if I crop in like this, which is what I would do for this picture, sorry about your logo. But I would crop in like this, that would be just as printable as that, not just as printable, but basically just
not noticeably different.
Exactly, for all intents and purposes. But this is beautiful, lovely light in the background. Without using flash, this is about as good as it gets. This kind of picture, I would love to use flash just because the light on the face is so it's so amateurish, but there's really nothing you can do. You couldn't do any better than that when you're by yourself without flash. No better. You can't do any better than that.
The limit of your equipment and your background.
Exactly. This is as good as it gets with your equipment. But once you bring in flash, then you could start forming the light on their face. That just moves everything into a whole different level. Okay, that's excellent.
One thing, Yael's asked a good question. How do you get rid of glare on glasses? Chin down, Yael.
Yeah, well, glare meaning that you mean reflections. Reflections always, chin down. That's a good rule. That's the first rule, chin down. And then just have to think about it, how it's working. If you've got, it's all very logical, as in if you've got a reflection coming from the glasses into your camera, that's because the sun is in a certain place and they're in a certain place and you're in a certain place, and it's just like physics.
So twist them a little bit,
exactly. Or you could turn around. So also it depends on the kind of glasses. When they're kind of convex glasses like that, then they can be they're really difficult. Like I know I've had a few times when people's glasses were just a nightmare, and a lot of the times it's not such a big deal, but it really also depends on it does depend on the glasses. Okay, that's beautiful, Heather. That is a great shot.
That's really lovely.
You've been, one of the really special things about this picture is that you've been absolutely like perfect with your
that could be in a magazine.
It's absolutely, it's so precise. I just love that, but it's precision with such like free flowingness as well.
Gorgeous.
It's a beautiful angle.
Love the lines.
Yeah, beautiful, powerful leading lines everywhere. Kids running towards us. We've also got this hard lattice kind of graphic there.
And then soft behind the head as well.
Absolutely. We've got all of this beautiful texture and color. And then, like you said, we've got a big distance over there with very soft and warm as well. I think you could maybe add a little bit of clarity to the kid here, maybe warm up the kid a little bit. And I think also Vignette would look nice. I would also be maybe tempted to just crop it a little bit panoramic. Just remember that a panoramic shot just has that little bit more kind of zip than a non-panoramic picture. So well done. That's beautiful, Heather. Gorgeous. Okay, that's cute. SD. I would crop in a little bit like that. Okay. Background's beautiful. Stats a little dangerous, but not bad. Okay. I think actually the stats are excellent. I think the stats are perfect, to be honest. And let me just turn off my phone. 1 second. Nice balance, lovely energy moving in this direction. Well done. That's a gorgeous picture. That really is well done. Okay. That is a little bit weird subject-wise. You can't really see. Do you see what I'm saying, Kevin?
I'm trying to picture this. It's hard with a kid who can't sit themselves up to get them in any other pose. So you've got that sort of interaction, but you're right, you're losing the faces.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Somehow.
So we've got a nice interaction. We've got a lovely shape here.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, just there isn't that much for me to look at. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the rocks in the background a bit distract.
Yeah, a little bit, definitely. Yeah, a little bit. It would be nice if it was all green. But I think the biggest thing to take away from this picture here is that we can't really see anyone. That's a little bit distracting. Do you hear like someone talking?
Yeah, you.
That's someone whispering now. Anyway, okay. Hi, Ellen. Okay, well, you missed the focus here, unfortunately. Focus is back here. The stats are quite good. Give it 200 ISO. An average priority. But this doesn't make any sense to have the tree over here. The kids should be a little bit further back, I think. Well, they said that the truth is that line.
Having said that, the line is quite subtle.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be worse if it would be.
The light is very beautiful.
Talia then. Hi, Talia.
Hi, Talia.
Yeah, we're heading on for 9:30, Shmuel.
Oh, yeah? Okay, we'll finish off in a minute. Okay, who's this? Julia. Hi, Julia. Nicely cropped in. Stats. We need a wider aperture, basically. Need a wider aperture, and I think what would also add a lot here is to vignette the picture. But nicely cropped in, good eye contact, kind of engaging. Okay, light's nice. It's a bit boring, but it's nice. So well done. Okay, who's that? Julia. Oh, Julie. Your flash went off. Your flash on camera went off. Yeah, and that is horrible. The kind of light that comes from your flash on camera is like
hard and flat.
It's just very, very unflattering. But the place is gorgeous. The location is gorgeous. In regards to light coming over your subject like that, not such a problem in this case. You've reduced it by using your flash. Generally, we don't want this kind of light. But when you've got such a kind of powerful, bubbly kind of subject, to have that kind of light is not such a big deal. In fact, you could even argue that it adds something. But the location is fantastic. It really is. But please turn off your flash on camera. Okay. We'll finish it. Cyril. Okay. Or Shmuley. We've missed the focus quite drastically. And I think, yeah, I'm not even sure if it's there's just not enough, in my opinion, it's very soft.
It's too shallow of a depth of field. It's just not picking up very much.
No, I think it's just overexposed, and it just feels like there's not enough definition. Although I appreciate the lack of definition, but I think it's just a little too much. I love this splodge of green in the background, and I think the composition is beautiful, but it's just a little bit
on a Huggies packet.
Yeah, but a little bit too much. Like maybe the eyes could be a bit brighter. You could just bring out the nostrils.
Or a bit clearer as well. Clarity up the clarity.
Yeah,
that's
definitely for sure. That's an issue. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's make a note of where we got to. We got to 19. So we'll put a little star there. Okay, what's next? What are we up to next? Lightroom and Photoshop. So basically, what everybody we are about to. I'm going to just throw out the. I'm going to post this thing 1 second. We have finally, this is really exciting to be honest, and that's why Talia's come to spend some time with us, is we have finally managed to put out our newborn photography course, which we think is, we think it's pretty good. B'ezrat Hashem, we've put a lot of time into it, and we've got great feedback from the people who have done it. It was included in the AMP. So anybody in the AMP course, you already have access to this course. Although we have added some extra stuff to it, we will add that into the AMP course. So don't worry about that AMPers. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay. I just put up the things. If anybody wants to jump ahead and buy that, we're giving a 50% off introductory offer, and we're not giving any other offers this month. Also, the truth is the school is really like pumping, and we're not sure about when we will start offering new offers on the masterclass or on the flash course as well, to be honest. But anyway, okay, let's jump in. So I brought in, I thought just to keep fun of it, I'm going to edit a couple of newborn pictures. So 1 second, let me just open these in Lightroom. So I'm going to do a couple of edits in Lightroom very quickly, and then a couple of edits in Photoshop. I don't know if I'll get to do a couple of edits in Photoshop, but at least I'll give it a go. And you'll see the difference. When it comes to newborn, I would say generally Photoshop is the way to go. I will also tell you something very quickly about Lightroom. This is really exciting, and I want to just show you everyone. Can everyone see me? Yeah? 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself bigger second. I'll go do that.
Your thumbnails, video thumbnails.
Where is that?
In the settings.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can see this. What I've just discovered, this is really funny. I'm thinking about actually turning this into a business. Is if you see this, so that is, if I turn it like that, it's basically a controller that is a bunch of knobs. You can see that, a bunch of buttons, a slider. Okay, basically what this is it's a controller. A lot of people use it for like audio stuff. I actually bought it about 5 or 6 years ago, literally, but I never did any editing because I always had editors. And then I looked into actually programming it into Lightroom, and it was such a nightmare that I was like, no way, I'm not getting involved in that. Anyway, because now we're back in business photography wise, and I don't have an editor and I'm editing myself, I pulled it out of my drawer and I dusted it off and I plugged it in and I sat there for 4 or 5 hours setting.
We're losing you.
What? You can't hear me?
We're losing you a bit. It went crackly for a minute.
You're losing me?
I'm getting all freezy. Hang on, it might be my signal. Hang on.
I think it was yours because it didn't go crackly.
Okay, take it back.
So anyway, this machine now, it's all based on how good you set it up, really it is. But what is in my mind right now, I'd love to hear your feedback on it, is that I want to actually sell this onwards with the presets. And like basically,
what, that you can adjust all the Lightroom settings on there?
If you look carefully, 1 second, this goes on like this, so you can adjust it however you like. Can everyone see the things here?
Not clearly.
1 second, let me stop sharing my screen and let me make it big. Now you can see this properly, yeah? Does everyone see that? So this is exposure, this is contrast, shadow, and then these are all my presets. This is vignette. So what I do is just I turn this knob.
That's crazy.
This crop, as I close that down, the crop crunches in, and then
no way.
So basically, what we're going to do, what my idea is when I get my act together, is 1 second. Let me just
program them for people.
Is to actually put it together for people and to sell it on.
If you want me to test run it for you, I'm happy to.
And without any question, once it's been programmed properly and set up properly, which is a big ordeal, but hopefully we'll take care of that for you, it literally cuts your editing time in at least half, maybe much more, depending on how mashuggah you are.
Shmuel, everyone wants to know where to buy it from.
So I'm going to hold out for a little bit until if we get I'm going to send out a thing if people are interested. If people really are interested in it, then it will give me a little bit more of a like a push
to develop.
You should know that without having it set up, it's like an overwhelming nightmare. It really is. 1 second, let me go back to the screen share. Like I said, I put that off for.
It's a brilliant idea.
It is, isn't it? I put that off for a long time. Anyway, okay, so let's jump in. So these pictures are out of camera. So in regards to what I would do in Lightroom, I would raise up my shadows a little bit. I want to go softer. A nice way of just making things like very kind of dreamy is by dropping your texture as opposed to clarity. And even sometimes just to put the clarity up a little drop. But to drop the texture down is a very nice idea. I think what I'm going to do as well here is I'm going to make it dark using my gradient tool. I'm just going to darken that area there a little bit. And I think that will give us a nice balance, which I think it does. Okay, and I think I'm going to open up my black sateen a little bit further. And in regards to a vignette, I think I might put a little vignette in as well. And I think that is my edit from here to here. That's what I would do here. That's what I would do. That's quite nice. Okay, and then the next picture. So again, I'm going to raise up my exposure just to drop anyway, straight away. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to open up my shadows a little bit as well. And then I'm going to put down my clarity again. I'm a big fan when you're doing anything. So not my clarity, excuse me. Put down my texture. The texture, difference in texture and clarity.
What's the difference between texture and clarity?
That's a good question. Is that the texture is dealing with flat areas and the clarity is dealing with lines. So when you put the clarity up, if it's a flat area with just a little bit, a very, very subtle bit of texture, it doesn't do much at all. Whereas the lines, it makes much stronger. Whereas the texture, it doesn't really do much to the lines, but it really softens or strengthens slight textures on flat areas. And now I would raise up my blacks a little bit as well. Okay. I think I'm going to crop in a little bit, not too much, but just a drop. And then I think I never really do. In fact, one second, before I do what I was going to do, I'm going to drop my clarity down and I'm going to use my paintbrush. I'm just going to paint around here just to make this kind of more dreamy. Okay. Remember about the rule of going further, as in working out what's the energy of the image and going further. And this is definitely a soft image, so I'm going to just raise up the exposure a little bit. There we go. And now I'm going to put in a vignette. I might even do a white vignette. Never ever do that. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do a darker vignette. But I'm just going to brighten up his face a teeny weeny little bit. 1 second. There we go. And no, I think that's about as much as I'm going to do in Lightroom. Let's have a look. We went from here to here. from here to here. That's already very acceptable. Like it's very rare that you need to go that much further than Lightroom unless you're doing very, very exclusive edits. Now, in regards,
because you really would set all that up beforehand.
Say again?
Because you want to get it all set up right in camera beforehand.
What do you mean?
You said it's rare that you do very much in Lightroom because you've got everything right first in camera.
I wasn't clear. So I meant it's rare compared to Photoshop. You can usually do what you need to do in Lightroom. You really can. Photoshop, you can go a lot further, but you can nearly always do what you need to do to make an image look great in Lightroom. Okay, it's important to remember that I can't stress it enough. People turn around to me and like, I do things quickly in Lightroom and they take a long time, and they like when I do it quickly and they look at me, but they're like, what about that? What about that? And they'll say to me, I'm just a perfectionist. They'll say that about themselves. And then I'll turn around to them and I'll say, well, what about being a perfectionist with your time? And they'll be like, I hear. Yeah, we've also got our time to be perfectionists about. We don't want to. It's all very good being a perfectionist about making the picture perfect, but you have to also be a perfectionist in regards to your time as well. So I say it always over and over. Editing in your business, if it's you're just doing it for fun and it's your hobby, then that's a different story. But if it's your business, you have to strike a balance between quality and time. You have to do that. Very, very important. Okay, I'm going to now bring in, I think we're only going to get time.
Talia, she's waiting patiently.
Oh, Talia.
Very.
You okay, Talia?
Yes, I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, so this is actually one of the pictures. Those pictures that I just edited, we go through in much more detail in the newborn class, and this picture as well. But I'm going to show you quickly what I would do here. Now, this is this trademark picture in the newborn class, one of my favorite ones from the shoot, or from the few shoots that we did. But what I want to do, I'm not going to go through like making it soft and all that kind of stuff. But what I want to do is to get rid of this and to give a proper composition. Okay, so I think first things first, let's go to this. The first port of call always is this guy, the spot healing brush. Yeah, it's a kind of hit and miss, but generally hit, and it's always the first thing that we try. And I think in this case, it's going to be pretty good. Let's have a look. 3, 2, 1.
Technical time lag.
Not bad. That was quite good. Not bad. Okay. And what about that? Also not bad. Let's just get rid of that bit as well. That should be quite good. And that is good. And then this one finally as well. Now, we can see that there are a few lines here that weren't perfectly dealt with. Again, that was really, really well done. Go, Mr. Spot Healing Brush. Look at that. It's not perfect, but again, it's very.
Don't forget also, once you're looking at it without having known that there was a black line there, you're not zoomed in, hyper focused on that bit of flaw.
100%. However, the one issue is though that we do end up losing a little bit of continuity with the energies going to the right side here. That area is not bad, but all I want to do is just fill in these couple of lines. Very, very simple. I'm going to go to my clone brush here. I'm going to use my braces things to make the brush bigger. You press Alt here, and then that will basically allow you to clone here and be quite precise. I'm going to do it from here this time. And now we filled that line in. That's fine. I'm going to just put a little bit over here. And again, remember a balance between time and quality. Is that absolutely perfect? No. Is it absolutely acceptable? Yes. Okay, I'm just going to finish this one over here as well. See, that's not so good. We need to find a bit where
your head's blocking that little corner.
My head is blocking. Oh.
Your little video.
Oh, I need to make in my thing, your head's blocking that little corner. Once let me make us forgot about that. There we go. That's good.
Yeah, now we see this.
Okay, so this is completely acceptable in my opinion. Now, what I do want to do is I want to give myself a better composition. So I'm going to crop in over here.
This is Photoshop, Naomi.
We're in Photoshop, yeah. And we are going to pull this out a little bit over here. Now, there's a few ways of extending this. The first and easiest way is like this. We're going to take it out, our marquee tool right to the corner here. I'm going to press Control-T, yeah, which is...
transform tools.
Transform, exactly. Now you have to press Shift, which means that you change the... you can stretch it. If you don't press Shift, then it makes it bigger. And that's going to be enough. I don't need to do anything else. Don't need to do anything else. The other way of doing it would be...
That's really good.
The most obvious other way of doing it would be with a clone tool and then clone it. But the fact that we've stretched it and that it's horizontal lines has really made zero difference, in my opinion. I think it's absolutely acceptable. Okay, I'm just going to crop in. I want to get that little corner. I just want to get the corners touching there to create a little bit of dynamic feel. Okay, now in regards to softening the image, I'm going to do a couple of quick little things here. Again, this is all in this. We go through this all in detail in the newborn course. So if you don't feel like you're grabbing this, you can do the newborn course. And in regards to Photoshop, that's a good idea. The Photoshop course.
Is it packaged?
We didn't.
There was a link. They were together on the image at the top of the link.
No, so there's the edits that I did, but there's not actually the course of Photoshop. I will give you, if you buy this course, we will give you a very good deal on the Photoshop. I have to work that out for tomorrow, but it'll be something like we'll sell you the Photoshop course for 60% off the Photoshop price. I didn't go through that yet, but anyway. But in regards to now softening this picture, what we're going to do is we're going to create a layer. Actually, that was a lie. I'm going to duplicate this layer. And I'm going to go now. So now I've got two layers of this. I'm going to go to my Gaussian blur, which is a great blur to use. And we're going to drop it down. You can see now, let me just zoom in a little bit more. Oh, 1 second. Let me just go in closer so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, not that close. Not that far. Okay. 1 second. So I'm on my top layer here. I'm going to go to my Gaussian blur. And I'm going to, that's 9.5, which is quite, I'm going to go a little bit more. Okay, now it looks terrible, yeah, but now watch this for a nice, so we're going to, let's go to 15, okay. Now we're going to click OK. Now that obviously looks terrible, but what we do now is we drop the opacity down to something like 20. And it just gives us that slight edge that takes away that slight edge. I'm going to raise up a little bit more. Okay.
That's really clever. Yeah, because you keep the sharpness underneath.
Exactly.
And the blur on top.
It's a really nice way of blurring. It gives you a very nice soft effect. And now just to show everyone how to do a vignette in Photoshop is you create another layer. You fill the layer with black. Okay. I press Control-Delete because that's my bottom color. Okay, I'm going to use my marquee tool and I'm going to go along here and I'm going to feather that at 250, and it might not be enough. So I'm actually going to feather it again at another 250. So I feathered it at 500 points. Click delete. Okay, just get rid of by pressing Control-D, you get rid of the thing. You get rid of the actual marquee. And now I'm going to drop the opacity down a little bit. And it's a much more involved way of getting a vignette than it is in Lightroom. The vignette in Lightroom is much superior to Photoshop, but that is how you get a vignette in Photoshop. You think
the Lightroom's vignette is better?
Well, it's just much easier, much easier.
Easier, but not necessarily a better effect.
Well,
I mean, it's not worth transferring to Lightroom to finish off other bits.
It probably is. The way I usually work is I'll do this kind of edit that we did here by getting rid of the lines and then extending the picture. You can only do that in Photoshop. Right. But once I've done that in Photoshop, I will usually take it into Lightroom and then do the actual photo editing in Lightroom. That's how we run our business, basically. Okay, whew. We're quite on time though. Not bad, Diamond, not bad. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah, we're 9 minutes late.
5 minutes, no? 250.
Oh yeah, sorry, I take it back. 250.
4 minutes. 4 minutes late.
Take it back.
Okay, Talia.
Yes, hello.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Wait, can we see you? Can you put your? Can we see?
Yeah.
you?
What do I do?
Press the little top left blue circle. Like where there's a blue one with your mic and a grey one to the left of it.
Looks like a little pig. Looks like a little pig.
Like at the top of this screen.
Yeah,
oh, there you are.
There we go. Hi,
Hello.
Talia.
Hi.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem, good. How are you?
I'm great. Baruch Hashem. 1 second. Let's make you big. Okay, so it's really exciting. Talia, I wanted you to give over, like, if everybody, we brought out this newborn course. The truth is that Talia and I made the course, how long ago? Like a couple of years ago, was it?
3. In the summer, it will be 3 in August.
It'll be 3. Yeah, we got great feedback from the AMPers who did it. Remember, please, AMPers, do not buy this course, okay? It is included in the AMP, so please don't buy this because I'll just have to refund you anyway, and that's annoying. But on top of that, what we did, because everyone knows how big I am on review, on Chazar, on going back over to get things clear, is we filmed a little while ago, Talia kind of in a whole different setting, a whole different thing, but we covered everything again in another separate video, which means you're going to get the review of the whole course, but without being bored by seeing the same things over and over again. So it's really Talia, the second part of everything is Talia doing the same things again, but with different babies and with different props and different wrapping, etc. So we kind of covered all
and
the
2.5 years later, so maybe there's a couple of extra new tips and tricks.
Yeah, that's true as well. Okay, go on, Talia. You want to tell us a little bit about the course?
The course is amazing, of course. We've narrowed the course down so that it's very digestible, so it's not overwhelming. We've split it up into different areas so it doesn't get confusing. You can like focus on each bit of the course in your own speed as you want.
It's so annoying, Talia. The courses that we saw were so full. They were like, there was so much more than you needed when you were beginning. Do you know what I mean? It was so like, it was such an overwhelm to see like, 15 different ways of wrapping the baby. You're like, well, what do I do? And I think
a lot of useless information. Like,
yeah,
why are you telling me that? That's not helping me.
Exactly. And the opposite, it doesn't even not help you, it confuses you. So what we did, Talia has a very clear system what she does, and we just went with her very clear system. So we've given you the most obvious ways of doing it, and from there you're going to build forward. If you want to get more and more with all the different kinds of wrapping that you can do that yourself. That's not,
Yeah. We're getting some good feedback here. People say they agree. It was really easy learning. So I'm glad you've all enjoyed it. Yeah, there's nothing like newborns. Newborns are just amazing. They're like people, but you can pose them and like plasticine. There's nothing like newborns.
Like people who don't talk back.
Who don't talk back. They just cry
They
back.
scream back.
Yeah.
But, somebody mentioned before that they felt like newborns were so much more difficult than other stuff. So I just wanted to say that once you've learned how to handle a newborn safely, first of all, you have the confidence because you feel confident that you're not going to hurt the baby. And also you just have the confidence to go ahead and do it because you've got new information that's going to help you. If the baby's got a problem, then because I've given you a whole checklist of things that if the baby's not cooperating with you, what the problems could be.
You can sack the baby. That's one of the new things that we brought in.
It's not like a 2-year-old child. A 2-year-old child, if they don't want to pose for you, they will not pose for you. There is very few things you can convince a 2-year-old child. It's not like a 3-year-old. I'll give you a piece of chocolate if you smile for my picture, and they'll cooperate. A baby has their basic needs. You fulfill their basic needs, then they do exactly what you want. And then you can just have so much fun with it. There's endless creativity you can do with it.
Great. Okay. Also, Talia, mentioned about the fact that you're personally involved.
So we've built this course with critiquing, and we've split like into homeworks. So the first homework will be to upload 10 pictures of the beanbag style, or we've also given an option without a beanbag, how to achieve a similar look without the beanbag. So that'll be the first homework. So you can upload them, and then I'm going to give you a critique like Shmuel gives for the other courses. Help you how to critique how you edited it, help you, like I'll edit it on screen so you can see how to edit it even better.
And we've also created that Talia's like I've been doing with the masterclass. It's going to be very much the same. There's going to be the homework, there's going to be the photo shoot, and then Talia's going to do an edit each week for your pictures. So we're trying to really cover you, take you all the way through, basically. Oh no, Talia, what happened?
Oh, I was trying to write to Libby. Sorry. Thanks, Libby. Whoops.
And then also the last thing that we worked out was that for the final, there's the 3 homeworks like what Talia was just telling you. Then the 4th homework is going to be you upload the entire shoot, the entire newborn shoot, all 150, 200 pictures that you take, unedited, which is all the AMPers have found that kind of style of critiquing very, very helpful. And then finally, we agreed that Talia, after the whole course, once you finish the course, Talia is going to, you can be in touch with Talia via Zoom or phone, whatever's good for you. And she'll go through your portfolio with you and discuss your website, whatever it is. And I think that's going to be a real kind of closure on the whole thing. And from there on, we want to see you run with it, like with all the courses here. We want you to be able to push yourself forward. Okay, Talia. Thank you. This is really exciting. I'll tell you, everyone, 1 second,
I hope you all enjoy it because it's really fun. There's nothing like it. I started with weddings and I've done everything, and I still do photograph all different things. But there is nothing like newborns. Once you've practiced a bit and you get the hang of it and you start to know what you're doing, it's so enjoyable. There's nothing like the joy of seeing that end newborn photo. There's nothing like it.
I'll tell you.
Some girls have asked, to what age will you take pictures of newborns to really that they'll cooperate?
I prefer up to 2 weeks. I really prefer up to 12 days. Up to 2 weeks, okay. I will photograph up to 4 or 5 weeks, but I always tell clients that I don't guarantee. There's no guarantee the babies are going to be sleeping. There's no guarantee you're going to be able to do all the different poses. And a baby boy, I wouldn't photograph from the bris for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to say? Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something important.
Gitty, you don't need so many props. Gitty, you don't need so many props for a newborn photo shoot. You can start, literally, I started over here. I started with things that were around my house. I used like my own clothing as background. I used like my own hair bands and I tied them behind the head. I used carrots. I used flowers that from
I remember the carrot pictures.
You can use anything. You can take a drawer out and empty a drawer and use it. You can use your pamper.
One of the homeworks is actually to get you to walk around your house and find random stuff and use it. We've given you loads and loads of ideas of how to just use the most random, from like helmets, from army helmets to boots to kneading bowls to drawers, to all kinds of wacky stuff. But one thing I wanted to tell everybody as well, which is really exciting, is that this is hopefully the beginning of a whole new kind of department in ZTP, which hopefully Talia is going to be running. And it could be eventually, firstly, we're going to be the plan is to be putting out lots more, kind of mini tutorials in newborn photography, helping with the business side of things, but also potentially ending up with webinars for, specifically for newborn and stuff like that. So it's the beginning of a whole new kind of department in our school. So I think that's quite exciting. Okay.
Yeah. And when you were talking about different things, one time I had a guy come and he was a volunteer for Had Solar. So he brought in his jacket and we like stood it up on the floor, and I stuffed like stuff inside, and I just stuck the baby in like this inside this massive Hatzolah vest, and it was a great picture, and they loved it because it was so personal. You can really use anything.
Huh.
Beautiful. Okay, Talia, we're going to move on with the show.
Very good. I'll stick around for a bit. You can mute me or whatever, but
I'm not.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself, actually.
No, actually, I can mute, but I'd never dream of muting you, Talia. 1 second. Let's go back to the screen. Okay. There we go.
Just joking.
I'm joking.
Let's move this over here. What's next? Where are we going to now? Oh, questions and
question answers.
Yes, I'm doing a little differently this week. I'm going to actually answer the questions that people asked me this week, as opposed to
skipping them.
Yeah, so anybody who's here, these are the questions that I got asked this week. So I will try and answer them quickly. I did look through them. I deleted a couple of them, which were a bit random. But anyway, yeah. How can I motivate myself to edit my photos? I find that I go out and take pictures, and then I have to really push myself to sit down and edit them. Obviously, these are not photos for clients who are waiting. I just find the editing to be so tedious.
Not obviously.
What?
Even clients who are waiting, it can sometimes be hard.
Yeah, but I think one thing that you should have in mind is that the editing is really part of the a massive part of the artistic process. If you enjoy taking pictures, then why aren't you enjoying editing? That's really how I say it. I know people don't get me wrong, you do events that are just like, please, Hashem, make this end, please. Yeah, but there's when we're dealing with when we're dealing with pictures that aren't just random pictures that are kind of a bar mitzvah hall with people talking to each other, and we're talking about something a little more creative, there's no reason why you shouldn't be actually enjoying it. There is no reason. It's absolutely creative, and it should be a way of expression. I think a lot of people have this kind of mental block. So my advice would be just stop it. Stop thinking that it's tedious, because it isn't really tedious, and you can actually enjoy it. There are things that are tedious, but the process itself, the concept of post-production, is very creative, and it's really the finishing touches. It's like putting the icing on the cake. So you could enjoy it that way. And plus, when we eventually release this guy, everyone's going to much love editing. Okay?
I would love to try such a thing.
Okay, well, we are going to get on with that.
That would be so awesome.
Okay, why do you photograph the kids first and only then do a family shot? Wouldn't the kids be cooperative right at the beginning of the shoot? The reason why I do that is to build up a rapport with the children. I stand them by themselves and I touch them a little bit, I touch their face and I get on my knee next to them and I say funny things to them and I joke with them and I get them on my side. I become friends with them. And then when you're taking the family picture, there's a little bit to work with. That's the way I see it. What to do if I don't have beautiful locations close by? I've heard that it isn't really circumstances or gear, but the photographer who creates the photograph. Does this apply with location as well? Am I doomed because I have nowhere especially pretty to shoot? So I don't believe that. Good question. No, but I don't believe that's true, because I don't know if there's gardens around you or whatever, but there's always forests. There's always places to go where there's greenery. Always, literally, unless you're in Delhi or something, where there are places in Delhi where for miles and miles there's nowhere to take pictures. Yeah,
but there are some areas that people live in that even if there is a bit of greenery, the sun's always in the wrong place, or there's a road just placed behind you, or how some locations just don't work.
Yeah, you're right. There are, but there's always around you. There's always a forest somewhere, and in a forest, there's always. You
just might have to travel a bit past the 4 meters outside your house.
Probably, yeah. There's definitely places that are beautiful, like going to Yamin Moshe in Jerusalem, that now you can't go to because people call the police and beat you up. But that's really gorgeous. Okay, so that is very special. But there's loads of places. There's always places you can go to. There really is. Especially the amount of times that I've gone to pick up, brides and drive them to the hall, and we just stop random places on the road.
Yeah.
you know, what I do that all the time, and you can always find places. It's less about the place and more about your mindset. And plus, you have to believe that that you can take beautiful pictures in lots of different places. But there are places that are more picturesque than others, that's for sure, and it is easier in those places. Okay, how much time should I spend on sorting, editing my photos post photo shoots? I would say that for an hour shoot, to spend 2 hours editing is probably realistic at the beginning. It would be nice for an hour shoot to get it down to maybe an hour and a half of editing. But again, like I said, it's always a balance between time and quality. What is the best way to send photo shoot pictures to a client? We use SmugMug. I'm not going to get into that. It's a very involved thing, but we do explain that very clearly, step by step, in the AMP. But yeah, that's a much more involved question. How do I get young children to have a nice smile, not scrunch up their faces, looking unnatural and forced? So you're right. When you ask little kids to smile, they usually do like things like that. Yeah.
Well, I did.
Or that.
If I tell my son, give me a big smile, he's like.
Look at this. You can see some really funny faces for little kids. The way I deal with that is I say, okay, no smiling. And you have to say it in a way that actually stops them from smiling. Okay, if you're like, no, don't smile, they'll start. If you say, okay, no smiling, and then when you start taking the pictures, and you can say something like, there's a little smile there, I can see a smile. Basically,
it's more about engaging them and making them laugh as opposed to giving them an instruction.
Exactly. The problem with this question is you're asking them to smile. If you actually get them to smile, then they can smile properly. So that's really the goal, is to reset them, stop them from smiling, and then do something, as my dad would say, Heine, that will get them to actually smile.
Yeah.
And a good way of doing that is by saying, I told you to stop smiling. I can see a little smile there. Put that smile away. And as you start smiling, they start smiling. Remember that smiling is contagious. How many pictures I sent to a client after the photo shoot was normal range for an hour-long shoot? So that's a very loaded question. There's a lot of different answers to this question. I can tell you, for me personally, an hour's shoot, I will shoot around 700 pictures. They will get around 170 final images. They will get around 70 to 80 diamond select images, like my favorite selection, and they'll get a slideshow of around 25 to 32 images. Okay.
Out of those 170, not
on top of the replay.
The best of them.
Exactly. When taking pictures of toddlers and babies, they don't stop moving. Should I try aperture wider than 4? No. What you need to do is you need to be using AI servo when the kids are moving around. Usually they don't move as much as it sounds like you said they do, but when they are running around like nuts, using the AI servo is a very good idea. You'll learn about that in class 6 of the masterclass. Thank you for these webinars, that's my pleasure. What can be done to correct the lighting on my laptop so it should not off? I'm not sure what that means. I think you mean this, but generally when doing a shoot, where should the light be coming from to get the best lighting on my subjects? So I'm not sure about what you mean by the laptop. Maybe they mean color calibrating. So I'll tell you the issue with, I haven't calibrated any of my screens or anything. You need to, in regards to printing the pictures, number one, you should remember that all your clients are going to be looking at their pictures on God knows what kind of screens. So it doesn't matter how calibrated your screen. Usually this size. Just bear in mind. If you're zooming in your picture to like the eye being the size of your laptop screen and it's not pin sharp, you don't have to worry. They're not going to see it like that. But in regards to the colouring and stuff like that, they're going to be looking at all kinds of wacky screens. So it's just out of your control. There's nothing you can do about that. So forget about that. What you do need to do is work out with your printer that things are looking good and consistent. And the way we do that, instead of having to get involved with all these calibration things, is send a few prints to your printer and look at them, get them back, and you do a couple of backwards and forwards until you get it clear, and then you're done, you're finished. That's basically how I've dealt with that over the years. How many edited pics? We saw that one. We said that as well. How do I think that means not collaborate. What was the word? Calibrate my camera with my lens. Will it help with missed focus? When you constantly say missed focus, could this be the cause? So the lens. You
can occasionally have a lens issue.
Yeah,
you can pay to get it recalibrated, and it fixes some focusing issues.
Also do what's called a micro adjustment on the more professional cameras, which is a bit of a headache, but it can also work quite well. But just keep in mind, I suppose the most important thing to keep in mind is that focus is a very technical, mechanical function, and it's not always spot on. It really isn't always spot on. A lot of the time it isn't. So you have to keep that, and you have to work with it. Like I say, engineering the odds is always the way to go. Please could learn to swap heads in Photoshop. Too late, so I didn't do that. Take the masterclass for
not in the Photoshop course.
Sorry,
it's not in the Photoshop course.
Oh no, I meant too late, as in it is in the Photoshop course, but it's too late.
Too late for today, but it's in the course.
Thank you, Yocheved. Yeah, absolutely, it's in the Photoshop course. I've taken the masterclass a few years ago. I don't have the guts to start charging because I'm not confident in my work. Any tips? Practice. In addition, when doing an after and outdoor photo, do you have any tips on how to deal with such a high, strong sun? Thank you. Shady areas. Okay. One thing that I always mention to people in regards to going out and charging. Okay, if you don't feel confident charging, then shoot some more shoots until you feel a little more confident. But on top of that, a very important thing, I always bring this, I've told this to many people. You remember David Chesner, Yocheved? So David Chesner.
Yes, I remember the story.
Oh, yeah, so he's like the big guy, or he was the big guy in England in the Jewish world of photography for many, many years. And I went to someone's house and there was a print on their wall, a canvas, framed print, and it was signed David Chesner. I thought, wow, that's amazing. And then I realized no one said, Dave, I think it's time that you should start signing your work. No one said that to him. He decided himself that he was going to start signing his work, which is amazing. It's an amazing idea. But remember, that's how it works in business, is you have to make these decisions. So you are going to have to jump in at some point, like, some of the weddings that I've shot, nowadays, it's more like I've done a lot of big weddings, so it's not such a big deal. However, still, when I like some of the last one I shot a few ago, I shot in Chicago, was like a very, very big wedding, over 1,000 of the most important wealthy Jews in America at this wedding, and I'm in the chuppah. Literally, usually it's just there's the one row and the other row and then the aisle. This was like one row and aisle, another row, aisle, another row, aisle, 4 things it was full of everyone looking very fancy and etc. And I'm standing there in the middle of everything, and my heart starts pumping, like really, and I was noticing, wow, my heart's really pumping right now. That was going out of my comfort zone. So the only way you can deal with stuff like that is by going out of your comfort zone. So that's important to remember. How do I get both eyes to be in focus with a wider aperture, close up of the face? You need a narrow aperture. Sometimes I can only get one eye in focus. So you could stand back a little bit further. Remember, as you stand back further, your depth of field gets longer. And then you've got your aperture, obviously. Will this monthly amazing out as well? Most awesome will continue every month? That's a nice question. Thank you for saying it like that. The truth is, in the meantime, yes, I am, as the numbers are falling and as the sales are getting less from these webinars, it is coming into my mind more and more to start charging for them. But at least for the meantime, I'm not going to do that. When using a material...
Yeah, we've also hit summer across America.
Well, that's a good thing or bad thing?
It just means people are less around, or different commitments and stuff. They're not in their regular routines.
I hear what you're saying. When using a material backdrop, how can I secure it that it will not get wrinkled and bunched up when people walk on it? It's difficult. That's the reason why the material backgrounds are really a bad idea. We recommend using the paper ones for exactly that reason. I know of photographers who use irons to press them. But basically, it's an issue, and the way around it generally is using paper backgrounds. Okay, let's just delete these, and let's jump in to finishing with the editing. Okay, nice questions, everybody. Where are we holding?
We'd start that one.
Oh, yeah.
We're 20 past. Yeah, that baby. Yeah.
Okay.
Huggies baby.
Let's jump back in. Okay. Beautifully balanced. Who's this? Leia, or Esty. Beautifully balanced, beautiful light, beautiful background, beautifully edited. The one issue that's really annoying me is that. You have to be careful with that kind of thing. It's on your shoulders, okay? You are responsible for that. Everything else is gorgeous.
Wow.
That, in my opinion, does distract quite a lot from this image. But that can actually be fixed quite easily in Lightroom. Also, putting your baby on the tarmac is not such a good idea. Remember, ugly graphics equal ugly pictures. Okay. Now, that looks to me like the coloring is off in Picasa. I'm not, I haven't got time to look at that in Lightroom. I'm going to just assume that the lighting was actually much better than this, because some
green.
Sometimes Picasa messes up. But the actual picture is beautiful. The light is gorgeous. The stats are very good. Okay, and you're using a very, very basic lens. We've got this. You found a lovely location. We've got lovely energy moving in that direction. Lovely, lovely balance. We've got this. We've got
the pose is so sweet.
Yeah, really. We've got lovely energy moving up there where we've got space. We've got this head here, and this head here really makes a big difference to the picture, because we've actually got now this girl has a kind of S shape here, and this boy has a kind of S shape here as well. That adds a huge amount to the picture. That sweetness that you were talking about, Yocheved, that's so much dependent on so much on those two heads. So much. Okay. This is nice. Now, I mean, it could be a little bit brighter and cropped in again as well. I like the energy from these
lines.
Yeah, well, even
it's done nicely, that angle.
Yeah, very. I agree with you. Even in Picasa, you could bang this out of control in Lightroom. Even in Picasa, you can do quite well. But this is really great. This is a lovely, lovely, powerful picture. Well done. Loads of gorgeous energy. But like I said, in Lightroom, you could really snatch this. Okay. A little bit flat, Yael, could be, remember, black and white should generally be punchy. I also don't think black and white suits this picture. Stats are not good at all. I have no idea why your stats are like this. You could be a much lower aperture, a much lower ISO, and a much wider aperture. But the actual subject is quite cute, and a nice moment. Again, we don't have enough of the faces really to engage us. Okay, but the real thing here that needs to be fixed is the black and white needs to be more punchy. But like I said, I would definitely question the decision to turn that into a black and white image in the first place. Okay, this is nice. We need to crop in a little bit from the top. Okay, remember the direction of faces is down, which means the eye line should always be above center. So when we've got faces moving down like they are here, to have more space at the top means that this picture is a teeny weeny bit heavy at the bottom, and that just makes the picture a little bit more balanced, but nice and close, good background. The trees may be a little bit annoying, but I don't think it's a big deal. I love the colors over here and the greens. Stats are very, very good. Well done. Okay. That's nice. It is very.
It's a cute angle.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, I think, though. I feel it's a little bit. I would like it a little bit more room. I don't know that I wouldn't crop here, but we need a little bit more room over here to just. It's just a little bit heavy over on this side. Just a drop. Love the light. Love the energy. There's a small picture here. Stats are a little bit dangerous. You should be on a much wider aperture with a quicker shutter speed. You did okay, but still, it's dangerous. Okay, that's a cute picture. Unfortunately, it's not sharp. You can see your focus is a little bit back which makes all the difference. Also, if you got down a little bit lower, you would minimize the ugliness of the path. The path, if you got down lower, the path would end up something like this, which would, I think, add a little bit. But I do love the energy of the path going off, and I love the vibrant greens. That's well done. Okay. I don't like the pose for brothers like this. It looks a little too girly for little boys. I always try and put he's the big brother, so he should put his hand over the little brother's shoulder, and try and display the relationship of brothers as it is. This is just like, this is not a it's not like the relationship of brothers that I'm seeing in this picture. It's two little boys standing there, but brothers, I try and actually show the relationship. Lighting wise, it definitely is. It needs quite a lot of work lighting. I'm assuming that this is shot indoors with flash. It should be brighter and should have a more formed light. It's a little bit confused, the light otherwise. Okay, but overall still well done. Okay, that's cute. Be careful, band-aids. That has no place in the picture. Also, this bench, just generally a bench like this doesn't have any place in your picture as well, so be careful with like graphics like that. Okay, that's very nice, well done, Shayna. It needs to be a little bit brighter under here a little bit as well, but her face definitely needs to be brighter. Her eyes, I think, were a little bit overdone, just looks a little bit
glittering.
Yeah, exactly, a little bit fake. And then use some clarity to open up the hair a little bit, but nicely cropped in over a very strong picture. Well done. Okay, we need eye contact here. We need eye contact. You've done well, Razala or Ruchi, whoever that is. You've done, I'm assuming this is indoors with flash. Yeah, it's for sure indoors with flash. But I think it's an issue that we don't have that we don't have eye contact. I would definitely like eye contact, and I'd definitely like to crop in. But the lighting is done really well. It's really nice lighting. So well done, well done. Hi, Khani. She's lost in the forest. Okay, much too small. Okay, that's a better shot. But remember, always, it's nice to have framing and foliage in the foreground, but never ever have it cut over your subjects. Never, okay, or over their face anyway. But overall, this is just a little bit. It's a little bit too. We haven't got enough to really look at. She's just too small, basically. You could, if you opened up the aperture, it would blur everything else, which would make that look a little bit.
Make her pop out.
Exactly. Okay. This is nice, Khani or Fagi, whoever this is. A little bit more room here. Or crop a little bit. I think actually just to crop off of that side would be better. It's just a little bit unbalanced. That's
the lovely patterns in the background.
Yeah, really, yeah, absolutely. And also the shape of the hat is gorgeous. Lovely light, a really nice, cute picture. And I think also that this line over here, which corresponds with this line over here, I think that actually adds quite a lot to the picture, to be honest. It also picks up this line over here and this line over here. Interesting enough, I think that adds something.
Encompasses it in a bit.
What's the word? It binds it. It unifies. Unifies the frame. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, we need some more contrast here, Miri. I think the actual picture is great. The clothes are great. The expressions are great. The energy is great. The pose is perfect. This really needs to be pushed quite a lot further in Lightroom. It really does. And also make sure that you are using a quicker shutter speed. Okay, that's too.
Just like straighten a teeny bit.
Even though you did well, I didn't notice that. I don't think. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'd probably have a little bit more room over there as well. Okay, Brocha, that is a little bit too fake in my opinion. The background, you've done too much. With I'm assuming that's Lightroom, that's Photoshop, but that it just looks a little fake to me. And I would move a little bit this way to make sure that the path was kind of more centered. As it is, it kind of goes off of the side a little bit. But otherwise, the actual light on the subjects is really nice. Stats are good, so well done. Not pin sharp. Okay, this is good. Yocheved, you're using, you can really see that your camera is what you're using, a very basic camera, the 50D, which we recommend to students to start with. But once you've got things as good as this, and the stats are perfect, mummish perfect, background's great, the light's great. In my opinion, Yocheved, it's time to upgrade your camera. Really tight. It really is time. That's really well done. But you're being very much limited by the
bound by the equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Hi, Javi. Awkward composition. Bang. Okay, we've got no line around here. These arms are very much distracting. What you could do potentially is crop here, and then these arms of his sleeves will
you back in.
So that's a better crop in my opinion than that. It's still.
How much do we care about stains on the t-shirt?
I mean,
would you put time into that in Lightroom or Photoshop to sort of blend it out?
Definitely not. But yeah, be careful. The actual crop here, just keep in mind the energies. What's all that doing over there? Plus, that's also distracting as well. That's just a random nothing. And then this energy, this shape is not completed. Okay, but the quality of the actual image is great. The stats are absolutely perfect. Lovely light. Still a nice image. Okay, this is nicely posed. He looks great. Look at that kid over there. This little one here is difficult, but needs to be over here or here. But you should not have one head right above the other head. We've got a good triangle over here.
Triangle there, yeah. Cut off a tiny bit from the bottom.
Yeah, I was also thinking that. Yeah, you've got a lovely energy. You've got the lovely rolling grass in the bottom here. But I think like what you just said, Yocheved, to chop a little bit off, I think makes sense. Yeah. Okay, well posed. That's good stuff. Okay. Hi, Sarah. There's no composition here. We could go like this, which would make a big difference. That's better. It's just I would probably be thinking using a prop like this. I would want her to be straight on. I would want the prop to be straight as middle as possible. And I would like to also, I'd probably end up thinking of cropping it something like that. Okay, that's well done. Looks like you need to clean your lens as well, Sarah. Okay. Hi, Devori. We need the kids to look at us. It's very random.
And tip their heads in would also.
I mean, well, the pose is like that. I'm never a big fan of back-to-back posing. But you definitely need them to be looking outside and also warm things up a little bit more. Like what Yocheved said. Wait, what were you saying, Yocheved?
I was saying tip their heads in a tiny bit just to bring them together. So he's looking off that way and she's looking off that way. But if they angle in just that little bit,
if they were both looking into the camera, though, it might
be enough.
It might remedy your problem there. But just be careful, like this area, it's not bad, yeah? Like, you know, I don't think the parent will have a go at you for that, but you could just look over here. That just looks like a much nicer area to sit the kids in. Do you know what I'm saying? Just be really careful. Very important thing to remember. Ugly graphics make ugly pictures. Just keep that in mind always. Okay, I like your, your logo there, by the way, Dory. Okay, that's nice. It's a little bit static. Go on, Yocheved. Why is that picture static?
There's something flat about it.
Do you feel the static?
Maybe that straight line of the kids at the bottom.
Everyone, answer please, guys. Tell me, why is this picture static? What makes this picture static? Everybody, do people agree with me that I'm saying that it has a static feeling to it?
They're all on their own. They're not bound together.
Absolutely. That's number one. And number two.
I've had a few comments like that. All their hands.
Everyone is straight on. Thank you. Who's Yocheved who said that?
Not me.
No, but Yocheved nailed it. There's no interaction. And then especially the kids in the front are all straight onto the camera. Okay. Yeah. And any time when you have people straight onto the camera, it creates a static. Javi asked, what does static mean? Static means it's not dynamic. You probably don't know what dynamic means. That means that it feels
no
like
movement, no energy.
Still. It's not moving, it's still.
Frozen.
Is exactly. The reason is because everyone's straight on. What you need to do very easily is if this little girl puts her hand around this little girl's shoulder, she will automatically turn her shoulder a little bit in. And if this little boy does the same here, his shoulder will automatically turn a little bit in, and that will change everything. And then what you could do is you could put this little boy, put his hand around her shoulder, and then have them hold hands even, and then they'll be moving in. And then all of a sudden, now your eye is flipping around the canvas in a really like energized way, and that will add a lot of energy to the picture. Okay, but I would say still, I do appreciate you've got a really solid basis there. Just like I said, you could push it a little bit further. Okay, Solar, this is again a little bit low contrast, and I think you've missed the focus as well. Drop. Yeah, you missed the focus a little bit. It's a little bit low contrast, and also like with the other picture. Someone did, I would question the decision to turn this black and white. Okay, I don't think you've got much.
Could it be that people are thinking that a dreamy pose calls for sort of like a sepia, old style, vintage, dreamy sort of look? But then you'd have to push that and really soften all the clarity and take it to a new level, not sort of stop halfway.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's a difference between like something intentionally like magical and gentle, as opposed to something that's just like weak and schwach. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's cute. So
it's a good snap to include in the album, not in the album, in the portfolio for the fun of.
I feel like it's a great idea. I love doing stuff like this. I do these kind of 1 second. I'll just show you 1 minute.
It's just the white is so dominant.
That's the issue. Like 1 second. I do this all the time, especially at bar mitzvahs at the cottage. One picture I remember off my head, which was called, what are they called? What was their name? Lifshitz. There's one picture that I remember off my head, but I do this all the time. It's just one picture that I remember. This is it as well, no? Oh no. 1 second. There. This kind of thing. I think it's kind of picture where there's like a kind of a surprise. You're like, what's going on? And then, the whole picture is based on that one little thing, which is what happened here. However, just like what you said, Yocheved. Oh, Yocheved, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I'm still here. I'm here.
That was scary. Like exactly what you said, Yocheved. That this is just, this graphic is just so bland. Even though the actual pattern is quite nice, but the color is so bland that you lose all the energy of the little kid because you basically just got a white picture. So I love the idea. It didn't quite work because of the quality of the graphics, but still good thinking, really good thinking, Malky. Well done. Okay, Rifki, this is nice. Stats don't really make much sense. Should be at 1.8. Could be at a slightly quicker shutter speed. You've just missed your focus. Where's your focus? No, actually, you didn't hold the camera still. Camera's not still. The light on his face is very nice. It's a lovely pose. I'm not sure if it suits him. You'd have to, that was only something his parents could decide. But still, overall, very nice. Well done. Okay.
Malcolm was asking about the pillars. She's enjoying the texture and I guess the dynamicism of the pillars. Would it help if you brought out that texture because they look so great?
Would it help?
I wonder if you had flash on the kid, you could lower the exposure everywhere else and then he'd really come out and they would be more background.
Even in Lightroom, you could do that. You could use your radial tool and darken everything else as well, or maybe add some kind of like funky coloring to it. But as it is now, I don't think the texture here would help you. Naomi says it's too much of a girly pose. That's what I said. I don't know if that would have to be for the parents to decide. Okay. I can't really see this picture. But it looks quite nice, but I can't really comment on that because it's not properly uploaded. This picture, I think you've done well with the edit here. It's turned it into kind of I can imagine seeing this up in some gallery wall in downtown Jerusalem. But as in regards to as a beautiful picture, I'm not such a fan of it as a beautiful picture. It does have a lot of power there, so well done. Okay. Simi, so this needs to be lit properly. I can't see the stats here, but it needs to be edited more. It needs proper lighting. As it is, it's quite flat lighting. I'm not sure what you did here, how that worked, but that could definitely be pushed further with the lighting and with the editing. Okay, that's a lovely shot.
It's well really done. Nice,
beautiful. Although the actual picture that you've uploaded is rubbish. It's a bad compression, whatever. But really well done. The two boys in the middle makes a lot of sense. We've got this lovely shape over here. Okay, gorgeous blossom.
They also bang out from the whitish background.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Plus with that powerful leading lines going into the background with the subjects walking towards you with a real mission. That's a great shot. Yeah. Great. I'd probably
very energized.
Absolutely. I'd probably make the green a little bit like more vibrant and maybe add some vibrance to the picture. I think that would add something. But overall, really, really well done. Nice and precise. It's not absolutely precise, but it's basically precise, which means not. Okay, Shandor, that's great. That's a lovely picture. That really is a great shot. This is ugly graphics, but I think we've got enough power from the subjects and enough green over here that we completely nullify that boring ugliness, and that's just really well done.
Would this be better if they took a tiny step forward and were leaning on each other, blocking out the pillars, as opposed to the pillars being part of the? No,
I personally think this big bold bulbous end here and these hard black lines here, I think that adds a lot of oomph.
Because they're posed in an edgy way.
Yeah, exactly. It's an edgy picture. It's been edited with a real kind of dynamic, edgy feel. The posing is really sassy. Even that's about as sassy as it gets for a little 4-year-old boy. They've done really well. We've got this powerful line in the background, the powerful line over here as well, and then these big, bold, vertical, bulbous lines here. I think just
I hear
I love it, and I also like these little. They also add quite a lot as well. Well done. I think that's a great shot, Shandor. Okay, we're nearly there. This is nice. Who is this? Shiffy. This little girl could be moved over a little bit this way. She's just intersecting with this tree, which isn't so great. But otherwise, nicely done. He's nicely posed. Good light. Good depth of field.
Drop too dark on the faces. Yeah, them up a little bit.
His face will drop. We could make his face a little bit brighter. But overall, well done. And finally, that's terrible. Oh my days! Who did this? Oh, this is yours, Evan. Sorry, I'm just joking. I would crop in like this. Yeah. Light-wise, I think is actually too. It doesn't go. It's too much.
Too much contrast.
It's too heavy. Yeah, it's too much of a ratio. In this case, I would move the flash over a little bit this way, and instead of bringing in a second flash to get rid of that, instead of dropping the power, increasing the light over here, I would just get rid of the shadow by moving the flash around in this direction, and you'd end up with just a slight shadow there as opposed to that whole area, and that would make a difference. Otherwise, it's a little bit overexposed on the bright area. The focus is also a teeny bit. You missed focus a teeny bit. It wouldn't make a difference. Your focus is on the mouth, not on the eyes. His head must be forward a little bit. I think his eyes his just like no one would notice that. His eyes are slightly out of focus. But otherwise, well done. Nice background. Good balance. Good stuff. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. As usual, everyone did really well. Let me just one more time reiterate about our offer. Okay, if I just kind of remove that and then do it again. Okay, so I hope that came up again.
Yeah, there it is.
I just really want to just emphasize that this newborn course is a really thorough. Let me just make myself bigger here a little bit. Is that better? We can see each other. Yeah. So
there's a couple of people who are. Yeah, go on, finish first. There's a couple of people who are saying that their pictures have not been showing up. Not only this time. I wonder. I don't know. Did you send them in time? Maybe try sending them a bit earlier.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make sure you send them. Otherwise, I think I got to all the pictures. No.
A few people said they didn't get to them. Could it be that they send them late? Anything that was sent on time, you collected it?
It could be that other people put up more pictures later. That does happen. But I downloaded them about 15 minutes before the class anyway, so I didn't see them. Sorry. But yeah, the point is, what I was saying about in regards to the class, the newborn class, it really is an amazing, not just is the content really put together and clear, but having Talia going to be with you, like guiding you through the way that I guided you through the masterclass is going to make a very big difference. We know a lot of people have been asking us for the newborn course. So anyway, here it is. Otherwise, we will see you in about, it's going to be a little longer next time. It's about 5 or 6 weeks until the next one. But I am looking forward. Yocheved, will you be with us again?
When is it?
22nd of August.
Probably.
Even if you're in England or whatever, you can still turn.
No, I should be back by then.
Okay.
I haven't got my diary right in front of me, but I think 22nd's all right.
Okay.
You know, my very busy social calendar, I'll squeeze you in.
Oh, thanks so much. Otherwise, everyone will see you then. Thank you, as always, for participating and making this always such fun as it always is. And please God, we will see you in a few weeks. Wishing you all the best. Keep snapping. And yeah, have a good one.